What if I told you there's a switch you can flip not with your hands, but with your mind, that completely short-circuits a narcissist's power over you? Narrator: a switch that doesn't just make them leave you alone, it makes them fear you. You know the game. It's a stage they build, and you are the main character in a play you never auditioned for. They write the script, they control the lighting, and they feed on your reactions. Your anger is their applause. Your tears are their standing ovation. Your desperate attempts to explain yourself, to be understood, that's their fuel. They need you to react. They survive on it. It's the one thing that proves to them they exist, that they have power, that they matter. Every emotional response you give is a confirmation of their control. Narrator: but what happens when the applause stops? What happens when the fuel runs out? This isn't about a clever comeback or a new argument tactic. Those are just moves in their game, on their board. This is about flipping the entire board over. This is an ancient trick, forged not in psychology labs, but in the brutal political arenas of ancient Rome. It's a secret wielded by philosophers and emperors like Marcus Aurelius, men who had to face down tyrants, betrayers, and egomaniacs whose power could mean life or death. It's the Stoic practice of creating an impenetrable inner citadel. And the one-word key to this fortress? The single most terrifying thing you can present to a narcissist? Narrator: apatheia. Not apathy, as in laziness or carelessness. In the original Greek, it means something far more powerful, a state of being without emotional volatility. It is a calm, unshakable tranquility that comes from understanding what is, and is not, within your control. To the narcissist, who sees the world as a hall of mirrors, you are supposed to reflect their greatness, their anger, their drama. But when you practice this ancient technique, you do the one thing they cannot comprehend. You become a void. Narrator: you don't reflect them back at all. Your peace, your calm, your rational indifference to their chaos doesn't compute. It's a dead end. A black hole where their power simply disappears. And that is what they truly fear, not your anger, not your hatred. They fear your irrelevance. They fear the chilling, silent realization that they cannot affect you, that you see their storm as just a mild change in the weather. In this video, we are not just going to talk about this concept. We are going to forge it into a practical weapon. We will break down the 3 core Stoic actions you can take, starting today, to build your inner citadel and turn a narcissist's greatest strength into their most profound weakness. Narrator: Action 1: Forge the circle of control. This is the bedrock of all Stoicism, taught by the freed slave Epictetus, who knew more about powerlessness and true freedom than any king. He taught a simple, brutal truth: some things are up to us, and some things are not. Narrator: the narcissist's entire strategy is to convince you that their feelings are your responsibility. Their happiness, their anger, their fragile ego, they place it all in your hands. This is the trap. The Stoic forges a shield by drawing an imaginary, sacred circle around themselves. Inside this circle are your thoughts, your judgments, your decisions, your actions. This is your kingdom. You are the only sovereign here. Narrator: outside that circle is everything else, specifically, the narcissist. Their provocations, their gaslighting, their passive aggression, all of it exists outside your circle. You can observe it, as you would observe a passing storm, but you do not have to let it in. So, the next time they try to bait you, perform a mental triage. Ask yourself, is this inside my circle, the insult they just hurled? No. The story they're spinning to make you look bad? No. Your choice to breathe, remain calm, and not engage? Yes. That is yours. They are throwing rocks at a fortress wall. They expect you to run out and fight. Instead, you simply observe the rocks falling, knowing they cannot breach the kingdom of your mind. This is the first step. You stop letting their chaos become your own. Narrator: Action 2: Master the view from above. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, was surrounded by sycophants, backstabbers, and massive egos. To maintain his sanity, he practiced a mental exercise called the view from above. Visual: the camera pulls up from a tense, 2-person confrontation in a small room. It rises through the ceiling, showing the building, then the city, then the country, until the earth is a small blue marble in the vastness of space. The angry, gesturing figures become infinitesimal, then disappear. Narrator, he would, in his mind, pull his consciousness up, looking down upon the whole of human life. He'd see cities squabbling, armies marching, people falling in and out of love, all from a cosmic perspective. From that vantage point, a single person's desperate need for attention becomes what it truly is, insignificant. A narcissist creates a micro-universe with them at the center. They magnify every slight, every disagreement, into a life-or-death drama. Your participation validates this warped reality. The view from above shatters it. When they begin their next performance, don't engage. Instead, mentally zoom out. See the room you're in. Then the building, then the city. See them, a tiny figure on a giant planet, spinning in an endless void, acting out a temporary, predictable pattern. You're not being dismissive, you're being accurate. You are recontextualizing their manufactured crisis into its proper, cosmic scale. Their tantrum isn't a hurricane, it's a dust devil in a vast desert, and from this height, you can't be pulled into the storm. You see it for the small, sad thing it is. This perspective makes genuine indifference, true *Apatheia*, not just possible, but logical. Narrator, Action 3, become the objective reporter. This is the most direct weapon in your arsenal. The narcissist speaks in a language of emotion, accusation, and judgment. Your power comes from refusing to speak it back. Instead, you translate their attacks into plain, objective fact. You strip the poison from the dart and are left holding a simple piece of wood. Visual. The words "you are selfish and you never think of me" appear on screen in a chaotic, angry font. They then morph and reform into a calm, simple font. Subject has expressed a feeling of being overlooked. Narrator, Epictetus taught that we are not disturbed by events, but by the judgments we make about them. The narcissist relies on you accepting their judgments. You will now refuse. When they say, "You are intentionally trying to hurt me," that is a judgment. The objective report is, you are communicating that you feel hurt. When they say, "You ruined everything," as usual, that is a judgment. The objective report is, you are expressing dissatisfaction with the outcome. You don't even have to say this out loud. This is a silent, internal process. You become a reporter in your own mind, documenting events, not stories. He is raising his voice, she is using accusatory language. He is referencing a past event to create a feeling of guilt. This practice does two things. First, it keeps their emotional venom from infecting you. Second, if you do choose to respond, you respond from this place of objective fact. A simple, "I can see that you are upset," is a statement of fact that offers no fuel. It is a wet blanket on their fire. It is maddening to them, because you are refusing to be the villain in the story they are writing. You are simply an observer. Narrator, the circle of control, the view from above. The objective reporter. These are not games. They are the pillars of your inner citadel. Practicing them will feel unnatural at first, because you have been conditioned to react, but with time, it becomes your default setting. The narcissist will escalate. They will try everything in their playbook to get a reaction, the same reaction that has always worked before, but they will be met with a calm, quiet, impenetrable peace. A void. They came looking for a mirror to see their own power reflected. Instead, they find a window, showing them nothing but their own frantic, lonely storm. They came for a war, and found only peace. And in the face of your peace, their own inner war is all they have left. That is the moment they lose all power. That is the moment they begin to fear not you, but your absence. The absence of the reaction they need to survive. You have forged the tools. Now you must prepare for the final test, because the narcissist will not go quietly into the night. They will unleash what psychologists call an extinction burst, the final, desperate, thrashing of a dying star. Narrator, this is the phase where they will try everything. The rage will become more theatrical. The victimhood more tragic. They will suddenly become the perfect partner you always wanted, a tactic known as hoovering. trying to pull you back with promises that are nothing but echoes in an empty room. They may recruit others to their cause, friends, family, turning them into what are called flying monkeys, unwitting messengers sent to do their bidding and report back on your emotional state. This is not a sign that your strategy is failing. It is the ultimate proof that it is working. Every one of these attacks is a question. And the question is always the same: are you still mine to control? Your silence, your Apatheia is the answer they dread most during this final storm. You must add a fourth pillar to your citadel. A practical, impenetrable shield. Narrator, think of a stone in a raging river. The water crashes against it, rages around it, tries to pull it into the current. But the stone does not fight the water. It does not argue with the current. It simply is. It remains. Its strength is in its unreactivity. This is your model. In any necessary interaction, you become the stone. This is often called the gray rock method. You make yourself as boring, uninteresting, and unresponsive as a common stone. No lengthy explanations. No defending yourself. No emotional appeals. Visual. A series of text messages appear on screen. The Narcissists' texts are long, frantic, and full of emojis and exclamation points. The response texts are short, simple, and gray. Narrator, they will send you a long, frantic text full of accusations and declarations of love. You will respond with, "Okay," or "I've received your message." They will scream at you. "Don't you have anything to say for yourself?" You will say, calmly. "There is nothing more to discuss," they will plead. "But I miss you. I can change," you will say. "I have made my decision." Notice what you are doing. You are not being rude. You are not being aggressive. That is still playing their game. You are being a factual, unmovable object. You are a dead end for their drama. To a narcissist, who craves the spotlight, there is nothing more frustrating than an audience that has packed up and gone home. Narrator, but a final word of warning. From the great Stoic philosopher, Seneca, he wrote extensively on the poison of anger. He called it a temporary madness. The purpose of these techniques is not to win a victory over the narcissist. It is to win a victory over your own emotional turmoil. The goal is not to make them fear you. That is merely a side effect. The goal is for their opinion of you, their existence, their entire drama, to become a matter of supreme indifference to you. To wish them harm, to delight in their frustration, to seek revenge, that is to drink from their poison chalice. It is to allow them, even in their absence, to dictate your emotional state. It keeps you tethered to their game. The true victory, the final freedom, is when you simply stop caring. When their name can be mentioned and you feel nothing, not anger, not sadness, just nothing. The quiet peace of an old battlefield where the grass has grown back. The scene transforms into a serene, sunlit garden. The person is calmly tending to plants. There are no shadows, no storms. Narrator, this is the ultimate paradox of the Stoic approach. In learning to not care about what they think, you gain absolute power, not over them, but over yourself. And that is the only power that has ever mattered. You started this journey as a character in their play. But by flipping the board, you have walked off their stage entirely. You are no longer reading from their script. You are writing your own. And in your story, they are not the villain. They are not even a supporting character. They are just a line in the prologue that has long since been forgotten. Cut to a final shot of the chessboard from the beginning. The hand reaches down and picks up the fallen king. It looks at it for a moment, then sets it down, off the board entirely. The camera pans across the empty board. Clean and waiting. Narrator, your board is now clear. Your life is your own. The game is over. Let the real one begin. The screen, which had faded to black, slowly brightens again. The clean, empty chessboard is still in view. Narrator, but what if the game isn't truly over? What if there are pieces still lingering on the edges of the board, trying to pull you back in? The final stage of your freedom is not just defense, but maintenance. It's about fortifying the walls of your citadel, so that no echo of the old war can ever find a crack. For this, we need to add a new layer to our defenses. Not just actions for when you are under direct attack, but principles for when the narcissist attempts to attack you by proxy, or when your own mind threatens to drag you back onto the battlefield. Narrator, Technique 5, Starve the Flying Monkeys. We mentioned this briefly. The flying monkeys, friends, family, or colleagues the narcissist has enlisted, often by playing the victim, to deliver messages, gather information, or pressure you on their behalf. They are a dangerous and confusing weapon, because they often come disguised as well-meaning allies. Your instinct will be to defend yourself to them, to explain your side of the story. This is a trap. Any information you give them, any emotional reaction you show, will be carried directly back to their master. You will be feeding the very beast you are trying to starve. Visual. A person is standing calmly within their golden circle. Several shadowy figures approach, offering scrolls. As they get close, the person simply puts a hand up, and the figures, looking confused, turn and walk away. Narrator. The Stoic response is to give them nothing to report. You apply a modified gray rock method. You do not attack the messenger. You simply refuse the message. When a mutual friend says, "You know, he's really hurting. He told me you won't even talk to him," you don't say, "He's hurting? Let me tell you what he did to me," you say. "I appreciate your concern, but my relationship with him is a private matter that I'm not going to discuss." Firm, final, kind, but impenetrable. You are not giving them a story. You are not giving them an emotional reaction. You are giving them a dead end. When the messengers consistently come back empty-handed, the narcissist stops sending them. Why send spies to a country that has nothing to report? Narrator, Technique 6, Rehearse the worst-case scenario. This is one of the most misunderstood but powerful Stoic tools. From Seneca himself, it's called premeditatio malorum *, the premeditation of evils. This is not about worrying. It's about rehearsing. The narcissist holds power over you through the fear of what they might do next, the smear campaign, the public outburst, the financial threat. Your mind runs wild with the possibilities, and that anxiety is a chain they can pull at any time. The premeditation of evils breaks that chain. Visual. A person sits calmly, eyes closed. We see a ghostly worst-case scenario play out around them, angry faces shouting, accusatory words flying, but the person at the center remains placid, observing it like a movie. Narrator, you sit, in a calm moment, and you deliberately imagine the worst thing they could do. Don't just glance at it, walk through it. Imagine they spread a lie about you at work. Okay. What would you do? Who are your real allies? What would be the practical steps to address it? You'd speak to your boss. You'd rely on your proven track record. Imagine they have a full-blown meltdown in public. Okay. You see it in your mind. You feel the flash of embarrassment. Then what? You would calmly walk away. The people whose opinions matter will see it for what it is, a tantrum. By rehearsing these scenarios, you rob them of their shock value. You have a plan. The fear of the unknown becomes a problem to be solved. When, and if it ever happens, you won't panic. You'll think, "Ah, yes. I have prepared for this. The monster you've rehearsed fighting is never as scary as the one hiding in the shadows." Narrator, Technique 7, Employ strategic silence. There is a legendary story from the fall of the Roman Republic. The Stoic senator, Cato the Younger, was the mortal enemy of the ambitious, narcissistic Julius Caesar. Caesar, a master manipulator, needed the Senate's approval. He knew Cato would stand and speak against him, potentially for hours, swaying the vote. So one day, Caesar arranged for Cato to be physically dragged out of the Senate as he began to speak. It was a public humiliation, designed to enrage Cato, to make him look like a sputtering, powerless fool. Visual. A stylized animation of the Roman Senate. A figure representing Cato is dragged out, but he does not struggle or shout. Narrator. But Cato didn't fight back. He didn't scream. He didn't protest. He simply went, in total silence. The effect was chilling. The senators, who might have been entertained by a shouting match, were horrified by Caesar's brute force against a calm, dignified man. Cato's silence was louder than any speech he could have given. It exposed Caesar not as a powerful leader, but as a petty tyrant. Caesar later admitted that this was one of his greatest political miscalculations. He handed Cato a moral victory without Cato saying a single word. This is the Cato Gambit. Sometimes, in a public or group setting, the narcissist will try to bait you, to pull you into a circular argument or a public fight where they can control the narrative. Your refusal to engage, your calm, strategic silence, can be the most powerful statement you can make. It tells everyone in the room, I will not participate in this drama. I am above it. You let their aggression stand alone, exposed and ugly in the silence you create. You don't have to win the argument. You just have to refuse to play. The scene shifts back to the calm, sunlit garden. The person is no longer just tending to it, but actively planting new seeds, building a new trellis. Their movements are purposeful and creative. Narrator, remember, these techniques are the tools to clear the land. But the goal is not to live in an empty fortress. The goal is to cultivate a garden. The time and energy you once spent managing their moods, deciphering their intentions, and defending your reality is now yours, all of it. This is the great prize. Fill that space. Reconnect with the friends you were subtly isolated from. Dive into the hobby they once belittled. Pursue the goal they told you was foolish. The more you build a life that is authentically yours, the less real estate they occupy in your mind. Your new life becomes the ultimate statement of indifference. The narcissist fears you not because you have become a warrior, but because you have become a creator, a sovereign of your own world. And in that world, a world built on your values, your peace, and your joy, they simply do not exist. Their power was never theirs to begin with. It was yours. And now, you have taken it back. The camera holds on the person's face. They look up, content and at peace, into the sunlight. It is a look not of victory, but of quiet, unshakable freedom. The sunlight on the person's face begins to cast a long shadow behind them. The peaceful music gains a subtle, questioning undertone. Narrator, but what happens when the enemy is a ghost? What happens when the narcissist is long gone, but their voice still echoes in the corridors of your mind? This is the final siege. The battle fought not at the gates, but within the citadel itself. The narcissist plants seeds of doubt, a phantom script that can run on a loop for years, telling you that you were the problem, that you are too sensitive, that you will never find happiness without them. This is their most insidious legacy. To achieve true, lasting freedom, you must burn that script and salt the earth where it was planted. This requires the most personal and profound tools in the Stoic arsenal. Narrator, Technique 8, apply the alchemy of perception. The Stoics believe that nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. This is the ultimate cognitive alchemy. The narcissist gave you a version of your shared past that is a monument to their victimhood and your villainy. They handed you a lump of lead. You will now turn it into gold. Visual, a dark, twisted scrapbook of memories is shown. A hand enters the frame and begins to relabel the pages. The time I was abandoned is relabeled to the day I discovered my self-reliance. The argument they started becomes the lesson I learned about their tactics. Narrator, you must become the ruthless curator of your own history. That brutal smear campaign they launched. It was not a humiliation. It was a loyalty test that revealed who your true friends were. That period of silent treatment you endured, it was not abandonment. It was an unsolicited masterclass in enjoying your own company. Every memory of pain they inflicted is a potential lesson in resilience. Every lie they told is a lesson in the importance of your own truth. You do not deny what happened. You recontextualize it. You refuse to see it through their lens of shame and blame. You see it through the Stoic lens of virtue and growth. They gave you poison, and you will transmute it into medicine. You will look back on the battlefield and see not a wasteland, but a training ground that made you stronger, wiser, and more discerning than you could have ever become in peacetime. Narrator, Technique 9, take the vow of Prosoche. This Greek word is the foundation of a Stoic's daily life. It means mindfulness, attention, vigilance. It is the practice of constantly monitoring your own mind, your judgments, your impulses, your assents. Why is this the ultimate defense? Because the narcissist's power relies on your unconscious reactions. They rely on you to be triggered, to slip into old emotional habits, to believe your own anxious thoughts without question. Prosoche is the act of stationing a guard at the gate of your mind. Visual. The person is walking through a normal day. A thought bubble appears, maybe I was too harsh. A calm, golden sentinel figure appears next to them, holds up a hand, and inspects the thought before it can cause an emotional reaction. The sentinel calmly shakes its head, and the thought bubble dissolves. Narrator, from now on, you will treat your own recurring negative thoughts about the past as external things. When the thought arises, maybe it was all my fault, the sentinel of Prosoche stops it and asks, is this thought useful? Is it true? Or is it an echo of their programming? When you feel a pang of loneliness and the impulse to check their social media, the sentinel asks, will this action serve my tranquility, or will it invite chaos back into my fortress? This is not self-criticism. It is self-awareness. It is the gentle, but firm, practice of choosing your own inner peace over the ghost of their drama. At first, you will catch the thought after you've already had the emotional reaction. With practice, you will catch it as it's happening. And with mastery, you will see it coming from a mile away and refuse it entry. The scene returns to the sunlit garden. It is now more lush and established. The person is no longer just tending to it, they are sitting calmly within it, reading a book. They look completely at peace. Narrator, the circle of control taught you what to protect. The view from above gave you perspective. The objective reporter stripped them of their emotional language. The stone of the riverbed made you unmovable. Starving the monkeys secured your borders. Premeditating evils disarmed their threats. The Cato Gambit weaponized their drama against them. And finally, Alchemy and Prosoche have cleared the ghosts from within your own walls. The process is now complete. You have not just built a fortress, you have cultivated a new way of being. Notice the final, beautiful irony. The narcissist demands to be the center of your universe. They need your constant attention, your energy, your thoughts. The ultimate outcome of this Stoic journey is that you simply forget them. Not with effort, but with neglect. You become so engrossed in building your own life, cultivating your own garden, pursuing your own virtues, that one day you will realize you haven't thought about them in a week, then a month, then longer. Their memory fades, not into a black hole of anger, but into the pale, insignificant gray of a thing that no longer matters. Final shot, close up on the book the person is reading. The title is visible, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. The person calmly turns a page, their hand steady and sure. The camera pulls back, leaving them in their peaceful, self-contained world. Narrator, they wanted to be a god in your story. You have made them a footnote. You did not just survive their game. You used it to become invincible.